The purpose of this, I was somebody that was born with a bicuspid valve and didn't know it until I was 36 years old, being an athlete all my life, and it can be you. So if you, my message is, if you have that shortness of breath, or if you have symptoms that you aren't sure of, to get checked out with a doctor, because if it can happen to me, and not knowing that I had a birth defect, it could happen to you. So, my name's Marion Lee. I'm a PE teacher at Hardy Oak Elementary in Northeast ISD, and my story started in 1998 when I was diagnosed with aortic stenosis. I had never had any of the symptoms, and it started with shortness of breath. I was an aerobic instructor and worked out several times a week, played softball, and I was feeling the shortness of breath. It was my doctor when I went for my annual physical, and he noticed the murmur and asked me if I'd ever noticed it. So I quickly went and got that checked. Turned out I had aortic stenosis. It progressed very quickly. Within a year and a half, I had to go and have my aortic valve replaced up at Cleveland Clinic. And I was very nervous, very scared. However, I knew I was going to a good place. Cleveland Clinic is supposed to be the best, and Dr. Cosgrove is supposed to be one of the best in the world, so I was in very good hands. And as far as heart surgeries went, it went very well. It was, he developed a procedure called mini invasive. They didn't have to crack my ribs, and I was on a treadmill within 4 days, and in 7 weeks I felt fine, and everything was great. Back to my normal routine, I never did go back to teaching aerobics, but I was able to get back into my workout routine and all that. And everything went fine for 11 years, and then I started feeling those symptoms again. I had shortness of breath, I had the cough, I had the chest pains, and I was very scared to check with my cardiologist, but I knew it was something I needed to do, because they had told me with my valve, it being a relatively new, it was a homograph human valve, that it may not, they weren't really sure how long it was going to last. And before that surgery, I do have high cholesterol in my family as well. That's something that just runs in my family. So because of my age and going in for the procedure, she said, we really need to check all your blood vessels, and probably nothing, but sure enough, they went in and checked, and I had a 60% blockage as well. American Heart Association, I've supported them even long before. I've been teaching 28 years, and I've done Jump Rope for Heart almost every year, because of the family history of high cholesterol in my family. What they do, the money they raise, and I say this to the kids every time now since my surgery, is this money goes towards research that that homograph valve was a procedure that they, was probably helped paid for by the American Heart Association. All these things, all this money they raise helps on research.